Welcome back to Startup Street. India's startup ecosystem is the third largest in the world with over 1.76 lakh registered startups. Fueling this momentum, Games24x7 has launched the third edition of its flagship accelerator program, TechXpedite. The 90-day program will back early-stage startups across AI for skills, gaming and sports, and inclusive technology, offering mentorship, masterclasses and strategic investments for the top 3 startups. Joining us now to talk about TechXpedite 3.0 and the opportunities ahead for Indian entrepreneurs is Bhavin Pandya, the co-founder and co-CEO of Games24x7. Bhavin, welcome back to Startup Street. Like I mentioned, you've announced the third edition of TechXpedite. What's the vision behind this accelerator and how has it evolved since the first edition in 2023?
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. And I'm really pleased that we are announcing TechXpedite 3.0. It's, of course, going to be bigger and better than the first 2 versions. The first one was focused mainly on gaming. Since then, we've added inclusive tech. AI obviously is really key to what we're doing, and obviously our focus is on continues to be on gaming because that's where we're experts. So we're going to do this time. We have three different cohorts that we're focusing on. The first one being AI for skill development. The other one being gaming and sports, obviously, and the third one being inclusive tech. So those are some of the things that we're working on.
Sure. So like you mentioned, the focus is on AI for skills, gaming and sports and inclusive technology. Bhavin, tell us why these 3 themes and what kind of innovations are you hoping to see from startups?
So these 3 themes, like I said, mainly because AI, I think, is here and now and is going to stay and is going to revolutionize our lives in more ways than one. And so it's the right thing to do is to be current, is to sort of ride this wave. Gaming, because that's where our expertise is, and gaming is growing very, very handsomely, continuously, especially in India. And last but not the least, I think there's a lot to be said and done about the use of technology in helping people who don't have all the capabilities that most people have.
You know, Bhavin, for startups listening in, what sets TechXpedite apart from other accelerators? Can you break down the kind of mentorship, masterclasses, and hands-on support that participants will receive?
Sure. The biggest thing that we noticed was that funding was available in India. There were enough and more companies or entities that were willing to fund people. But what was not available was real mentorship. Okay, these are the kinds of problems. How do you tackle them? How do you solve this technology issue? How do you solve this go-to-market issue? And I think that's where TechXpedite really stands out, where we've been there, done that, and that's what we're sharing directly with fellow entrepreneurs who want to also establish themselves here. Not to mention that we're also making connections and giving them the inroads to get funds and receive funding. We ourselves are, like you said, for the top three entrepreneurs this year, going to put in a check and also are in advanced talks with, have already given a term sheet from our last TechXpedite edition to Ample.ai, which is doing some fantastic work using AI.
You know, you mentioned that you're already committing a strategic investment for the top 3 startups. What will the size of investment be? And what kind of business or impact metrics will you be looking at when deciding who makes the cut?
So let me talk about the second part first, right? Which is that the impact, which is in our minds, right? There are a lot of problems that we can solve today. Especially, I think there are entrepreneurs coming up in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. They're coming up with some very bright ideas to solve problems for India. And so from that perspective, our biggest lookout will be for the impact that this will cause, that this idea will cause, that the product will cause. And if the impact is large, then everything else we're going to support fully. As per the amount of investment, that will vary from the need the startup has, what they're really looking for, and how we can contribute to them getting the largest shot at success.
Okay. You know, you mentioned the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and you're also taking TechXpedite on the road with city chapters in Delhi, Mumbai, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Amravati. How important is regional outreach in spotting the next wave of founders, Bhavin?
Extremely important, Shruti. And the reason for that is, until now, all of our focus has been on the, like you said, the Bengalurus, the Hyderabad's, the Mumbai's, and the Delhi's of the world, right? But I think it's time to look beyond that, because as I was just saying, there are very cool problems that only tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities in India are facing, that the tier 1 is not even aware of, right? And this is where some of these entrepreneurs are using these skills, their skills in AI and tech, to solve some of those problems that are niche to them. And that obviously, as we know, that tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 is a large part of our country, our population.
Yes.
And so there's a huge impact that can be made there.
All right, Bhavin, quickly looking ahead to pitch day in February 2026, what are you hoping to see from this year's cohort?
We're hoping to see a lot of startups that come that use AI in very meaningful ways, right? I mean, right now, a lot of us are using AI. We're using ChatGPT. We're using some of these things to help us answer immediate questions, right? But can you really build AI or a system using AI that'll solve a cool problem, that'll build a moat, right? That so tomorrow no one else can replicate, or fewer people can replicate, because you're really solving it in a very niche, in a fantastic way.
Well, on that note, it's time for me to wrap up our conversation. Bhavin, many thanks for joining us on Startup Street today, and wish you the very best with TechXpedite.
Thank you so much, Shruti.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on CNBC-TV18. Stay tuned.